Hello and welcome back to Anomalies with Alexa. I'm your host, Alexa, and this is my co-host,
Lance.
This first episode is going to be some of our own spooky stories that have gotten us into ghost hunting. We both have been into ghost hunting for a long time, and we are both very interested in the paranormal. So originally, this first episode, I was going through government, the FOIA, it's like freedom of some type of governmental site where you can look at released files, and I wanted to see if there was anything about aliens or paranormal stuff or anything like that. This is our daughter's over there on the couch digging.
Gosh.
So we originally were gonna do that, and then I kind of got bored with that because I couldn't find much. And I went to scary Reddit stories, and I couldn't really find much there either. So we're going with our own personal stories, and then eventually we're hoping to do a lot of listener stories and just kind of see what y'all have to say about what has happened to you. We'll document our ghost hunting trips and different things we find. We'll take videos and pictures and kind of vlog our ghost hunting. We have plans to go to a sanatorium in Kentucky, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
It's like
in
the
Kentucky.
Louisville or something like that. And we've went to the Ohio State Reformatory. We've had a few experiences here and there, and so let's just get into it. The first story that I think of when I'm thinking of what really made me start to believe is when I was younger. I had inherited all these dolls from my mom. They were the kind that are porcelain, and they had like the glass eyes. They weren't the kind that like the eyes closed and stuff, so the eyes were just always open. And so I was always really scared of these dolls, and I would keep them on the floor in the corner of my room turned towards the wall so they couldn't look at me, basically. And I always had a bad feeling around them, and so eventually my grandpa made these shelves for me to put my books and the dolls on the very top so that I wouldn't be as scared. And one day I'm cleaning my room and I'm moving things around, and I'm near the shelves, and I'm moving things around, and all of a sudden everything on every single shelf except for the top shelf where the dolls are falls on me and hits me. And I look up in the top shelf where the dolls are, they're all looking down at me. And I booked it downstairs. That was like one of the most scary times of my life, and I had a few experiences in that room, in that house. It was an older house, and when I first moved in, my bedroom, I went into the closet, and there was red writing that said, I think it said, "He'll get you." And it just really spooked me, and I just always felt a very negative energy living in that space. Do you have anything come to mind?
Or what it was just written on the wall?
In the closet.
From like
a crayon type thing.
Huh.
And then I covered it up, but it like was super, I don't know, just like a dark energy it felt like in there. And then one night I was sleeping, and we had window units upstairs because even though I think the house had central air, the upstairs would still get kind of hot, so we got window units. And the one night I was like really petrified this night. I don't remember why, but I would get too scared to the point where I'd cover my head with the blanket so I couldn't see. And I heard there was these knobs on the AC unit, and I heard whatever was in my room did not like the AC on and wanted me uncomfortable under the blankets. And so it turned off my AC. And I got super hot, but I didn't care. I was so scared. I heard creaking leading up to the point where my AC was, which was like at the foot of my bed, and then I heard all the cranks and my AC turned off in that same room. And so I didn't uncover myself, and I think that made it kind of give up. Oh, he's falling asleep. Do you have any stories that you think of?
what got me into it. I guess I've always been able to like sense and see stuff ever since I was little. So I've always been like, I want to say attracted to that stuff, but I always
curious, maybe.
Yeah, curious and like
I can sense, but I don't think I've ever seen much.
I've seen a lot, to be honest.
I want to see more, but I don't want to experience it at home. Like, I want to experience it outside of my safe space, you know?
What I could describe it the most, like, it's the exact opposite of, like, the Conjuring movie stuff and stuff like that. You don't actually see any of, at least I don't see any of that stuff. It's more like bright lights and, like, shadow
aura
figures.
Type thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And, like, sometimes I see, like, actual, like...
apparitions?
Apparitions, like, I don't know, something wrong with it, because, like, just something wrong with it? I don't know.
I really believe that a lot of things people experience is a residual haunting. I don't believe that all of it is really that person's spirit or a demon. I believe a lot of it is, like, at one point in the house we lived with my parents for a while before, because we're like 20 years old. So before we got a house, we were living with my grandparents for a while, and there was a lot of high emotion in that house at that time. We were stressed. We were in a one bedroom where we were living with all of it in there, all of our stuff, I mean. My grandparents hate each other, basically, and so there's a lot of negative energy between them. And then me and my grandparents have a good relationship, but living together and constantly being in each other's space, I had no boundaries. I was stressed, he was stressed, they were stressed, and so it was just a lot of negative emotion. And I did feel a little bit of negative energy in that house when I first started living there.
I think it's like a beacon to things
but I
like
think
that.
I think it did cause more to happen because of all of that negative energy, and all that tension in the house. Because at one point, I would leave for school, and this gives me shivers thinking about it, because this is really what got me to really believe, I think. Like, I kind of believed in the spiritual and all of that when I was younger. I was raised very Christian, and that kind of shaped how I see things now, but I'm no longer Christian. I've happily been far away from the church for a while, and so I'm more of a spiritual I believe, like, nature and energy and different forces live in all of us, and whether that can come back as something else, I feel our energy does have to go somewhere else. I don't think it just dies. So whether that be we continue life through a bug eating us and our energy feeds the bug, and then the bug poops and now we're energizing the dirt, I don't know. Or we come back as someone else. Who really knows? But I believe that I believe we conjure a lot more ourselves than we'd like to believe with our emotions. And groups of humans, I think, conjure a lot more things than they would like. So the four of us, with all that high emotion, I think drove a lot to happen.
Yeah, and it definitely attracted something outside of the house.
Yeah, because we had selenite, because I like to believe that crystals could hold some type of protection, maybe. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd like to think that. And so we had selenite up on our door, our window, and then I would put it in different places around the house. But nothing came inside, but there was something that would constantly tap on our window. I didn't finish the story. So I would leave for school, he would drive me, and I started to walk out to the car, and my grandma a lot of times would stop me before I would leave, and she would kind of yell this guttural sounding yell-ish to get my attention to not leave before I gave her a hug. And she would yell my name, and it would be like real shrill, and it was like, Lexi! Because my name's Alexa. Everyone calls me Lexi for the most part in my family, and so, or Lex. But I kind of, maybe it's because I started to expect it to happen, but I hadn't hugged her this day. And I'm walking to the car, not like super fast, and all of a sudden I heard it, but it sounded a little off, and I turn around real fast, and there's just this like black void to the woods that are beside our house. So there's like this tunnel, and you could get to the woods behind the house through it, and it wasn't typically pitch black in the morning when the sun was out, but it was pitch black when that happened, and it really scared me because I had not experienced a mimic or anything like that before, but I think that was my first time. And so I just ran to the car, which I don't know that you're supposed to run away from them, but I know for sure I wasn't going to go up to it. And so I ran to the car, and I think I eventually told you about it, but it really scared me. I had never been scared as an adult of the paranormal, which I was in high school, so it was awful.
But I remember when you told me that, I told you what I experienced there. That one was really scary. I used to work second shift. Worst shift ever.
I hate second shift. I could never work second shift again.
I worked it for, what, a year?
More than that.
Yeah,
because...
I guess, yeah.
Anyways, continue to the story.
But I would work, what was it, 3 to 11:30 or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would get home. I would probably work over anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So I'd get home midnight to 1 in the morning. And one night when I got home, I think at that time I was driving a newer car, so the headlights were perfectly fine, nothing, like I could see everything. As I'm turning the car off, the car lights kind of stay on for a little bit after you turn it off and you lock it and everything. So as I'm walking up to the house, it's kind of like a longer like driveway to walk up, and I used to park at like the very end, so I'd have to walk up the entire way. And as I get up towards the house, the lights cut off, and all I hear is her calling me into the woods. And I was like, what are you doing out here?
And I'm never up past 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Never, and especially not outside.
No, I don't.
Never.
I'm afraid of the dark even now.
Yeah, and I was like, what are you doing out here? And it was basically saying like, hurry, come here.
I have to show you something.
Yeah, I have to show you something. I was like, you're not going to show me anything. It's dark out.
I think you internally knew it wasn't me, so you were being that sassy.
Maybe, I don't know, but its voice started to change a little bit, like got like a little like, what's the word, like
shrill?
Not human, that's for sure.
Uncanny Valley.
Kind of. It was like it got a little deeper, a little scratchier, like started like mumbling something else, maybe other than English, or maybe just mixed up words, like it used all of its energy or something, or all the words it knew, maybe of you. But it was like, Lance, come here, come here. Yeah. So it was like, come here, hurry, I gotta show you something, come here. And as I opened the door and started closing it, that's when its voice started coming. It's like, come faster, like, you gotta come here now. And I hurried up and shut the door, kind of stood there for a second, locked it, making sure it wasn't gonna do anything. And nothing else happened. Like, it didn't tap on the window.
That's so spooky.
Yeah, it didn't try opening the door. It didn't. That's all it did. I was like, okay. So I like ran inside after standing there for a second.
I was sleeping.
You were sleeping. And I was so scared to wake you up. I was like, what if like something happened? And like
to like off the same token, with all that negative energy at the time, like everyone was really struggling in that house during that period of time. And I talk a lot in my sleep, but I don't remember any of it. And whether that's a spiritual thing or not, a lot of the talking in my sleep that I would do at that time was very negative towards him. Like mean. Like very it was mean. Like calling him stupid or like just really mean stuff.
Yeah.
And like I don't remember any of it. Like he would tell me and I'd be like, oh, that's my sleep person. But now that we're out of the house, my sleep person is very nice. We call it my sleep person based off Rick and Morty because we watched an episode where everybody had a sleep person and the sleep person would work out for them or learn trumpet, and the whole episode is very silly. And I don't even know if we started calling that my sleep person before or after, but we've just always called it my sleep person because it talks, it'll blink, and it'll try to pretend to be asleep. It's like my subconscious is working overtime to keep me asleep.
Yeah, that's probably the best way I can explain it. You kind of just, and now all she does is, yeah, okay, yeah. Trying to get me to shut up real quick. But yeah.
I don't know, I find it kind of creepy because, like, he's recorded it before of me in my sleep with my eyes open talking to him, and it's just like, I don't know if it's just my subconscious or if anything spiritual could control that.
I don't know.
But it just is odd to me that it used to be very negative when we were in a very bad headspace, and then now that we have our peace, we really prioritize our peace now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our own place, and we have a lot of good things going on for us, other than, like, you know, little stuff in life that happens. But it's like, it's not mean anymore at all that I know of.
No.
I don't remember any of it, so I really shouldn't be the one to say, but...
No. You don't really get negative unless
you're really trying to wake me up.
Nah. No, it just gotta be like the right time at the right day, basically.
But it's not as negative as it used to be, right?
No. It's more or less just like, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep at this point.
That's literally
not
me.
Like, yeah.
I'm a hard sleeper though, but I remember, like, some of the stuff you would tell me that I was saying, and it's just like, that is so mean.
Yeah, and usually you wouldn't even say stuff like that even when you're awake. So it's like, it was weird.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was, I don't know, it was saying a lot more than what my normal, because my grandma always tucked me in and she would say that I would talk, but that I wouldn't really say much, that I just mumbled things. And so for me to be, like, having full conversations with him or, like, calling him more than one thing is just odd for me, because I don't typically talk a lot. It's more of what he just said that I do now. It's like the yeah. Or what else did you say?
Okay. Or, like, you just, like, anything
just like to get the conversation over.
You would say it at least like 3 times. Sometimes it's way more. And you're just like, okay.
But it's just weird to me that during that time a lot of those things were happening, and I was also talking a lot more in my sleep, which is, like, so creepy to combine all those things together, like your girlfriend's being super mean to you and calling you mean things in her sleep. There's a SW outside tapping on the window and a mimic trying to get you in the woods.
I also cut all of the branches down by the window to make sure it
there was no branches by the window.
I cut them all down.
There was nothing by the window. Even though there was woods behind us, there was no branches. I could walk past my window and not touch a branch.
Yeah, I cut it all down. So this story is from when I was in high school. Obviously I still lived with my parents, but at the time I worked second shift, so I was coming home late. I didn't get to eat much at work that day.
Because you never pack anything.
Yeah. But it's okay at that time. Yeah, but when I got home, I started making food, because when you first walk in the back door, it was the kitchen. Yeah, and like a little laundry room or type of thing. I don't really know.
And speaking on this house, so this is before he had moved in with me and my grandparents, and this house was in constant disarray, not only physically but emotionally. So everyone was kind of at their wits' end all the time. There was some negative energy there as well.
100%. That house was bad.
And everyone was stressed out. Both his parents work very demanding jobs at this time. They have a, how old were you? 16-year-old kid, a 15-year-old kid, or 14?
14.
Like a 14-year-old kid,
yeah.
16, 17-year-old kid, and a 7-year-old at this time. And other things were going on that I won't mention because that's not my story to tell, but just some very emotional things were going on at this time, and very demanding jobs. The negative energy was already causing people to kind of be negative, and so different things would happen to him at this house. I just thought it was
a lot
pertinent to the story to mention that. Hi, baby.
Because this is probably, it's The other time it was when I was really little, so it's probably why it's more ingrained into my head as being worse. But
Yeah, because
this is probably.
I think
worse.
this story is worse.
Yeah.
He's told me the other stories that he's experienced at this house, and I find that the scariest one is what he experienced in high school, but that's because probably the details are more descriptive because they were actually happening to him at a state where he was old enough to remember.
Yeah, and know what's going on.
Go on, tell
So,
us.
as I'm getting home late, I start making food because that's just always what I did. I never packed food.
Just ate after.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like not feeling the energy right away. You're just like going in. I'm hungry.
To be honest, this time I didn't even feel the energy. I didn't feel anything. I thought everything was normal. I didn't feel anything. It caught me completely by surprise. So as I think I put like a Hot Pocket or something in the microwave. And so I turned it on and I heard my dad, like, he had like a lazy boy rocking chair thing. And you could hear it rock because it was pretty loud and it was a little, like, the springs or whatever moved in them. It was loud and a little older. So all I heard was that rocking, like, pretty quick. I'm like, okay, there has to be someone in the living room. So I'm like, hey, who's up? What's going on? It's like 11 o'clock at night. Usually they get up at like 5 or 6 in the morning to go to work. So as I'm talking to him, I'm having a full-blown conversation, and I just stop. And I'm like, wait, nobody's responding. What is going on? Just the rocking chair is still going fast. Like, it's definitely not just rocking because, like, wind or whatever. It was a heavy chair, too.
And that house didn't really have central air.
Or it had central air, but it just wasn't strong. Yeah, it was a little house, like maybe 1,000 square foot or whatever.
It wasn't like super small. It wasn't like an 800 square footer, but they also had a lot of stuff in it. So there wasn't a lot of extra room to the house. So they didn't really do it any justice there because there was like 3 different big pieces of furniture in the living room.
Yeah.
There was a huge table in an already very small kitchen, cabinets that were kind of large for what a small kitchen it was.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. They added like these like the plastic things, the racks that you can buy that you put together by having like the trays, and then they had canned goods on there.
This was before that then. This was
No, because
this was before that, yeah. So this was when they had a huge wooden table on that I got a scar from my dog.
But anyway, so the chair was rocking,
yeah,
and you were noticing that no one was responding.
Yeah.
So you went into the living room?
Yep, I started turning the corner because I'm like, what's going on? And so as I'm turning the corner, I see the TV's on, but it's just like on like a blank screen. Nothing's actually like on the screen. And the rocking chair's facing directly at the TV, so I can't see who's in it. I can definitely make like there was someone sitting in it. I could see their head. So I was like, the only person could be my dad at this point. There's no one else that would be. So I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And it stops instantly. Didn't stop rocking slowly. It stopped instantly as soon as I said that. I'm like, everything okay? And the entity just stood up real quick. It was probably like 7 feet tall. And I was like, yeah, you're dead. Like, I was like, that's
his dad's
definitely
shorter.
not my
his
dad.
Dad's not like, not super short, but like not 6'7".
No.
Not like 6'7" or anything.
He's probably like
he's
same
probably
height
like
as me.
5'9".
Nine.
So he's like not a short guy, but he's not a tall guy either.
Not like 7 foot. This thing was really tall, and its head was like it was already almost hitting the ceiling. And as it turns around to talk to me, all I seen was like the only thing I could really make out was it had boots, and the boots were huge. Like it could put its foot across my chest right now, and it would still have room off to the side of it. It was huge.
More boot hanging
yes, it was huge, and it was super
Didn't it
loud.
smell like cigarettes?
It did. It smelled like cigarettes, which my parents did not smoke.
No one smoked in that house.
They hated the smell. And so as it gets up, I can't see a face. I could see its eyes that were shiny, but not like had a color. They were just shiny. And as it starts walking to me, it gets bigger and bigger and gets like disproportionate from a person, and it gets so tall that its back starts hunching over this like 9-foot tall ceiling, and it's just coming for me, and I freeze, and then as it's coming closer, it starts almost crawling on all fours, still touching the ceiling. And I'm like, what do I even do? Like, there's nothing you can do to stop that thing.
I would have
it's
ran.
Huge. So I ran.
Did the boots start stomping for you?
Yeah. Oh no, that kept going behind me.
Could you hear them though?
Yeah. It sounded like it was getting closer and closer in that little hallway. And as I'm getting into my room, it completely stops, and I just start yelling. I'm like yelling at everyone to wake up, that there's someone in the house. And my dad had like a little gun rack, and I heard that thing swing open, and he's jumping out with.
Was that your jaw?
Yeah.
I've been popping mine the whole time.
But I heard it swing open, and everything just went silent. And then my dad's like, "Everyone okay? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, there was someone in the house. They were in your chair. And as he's going out and walking, the chair was still moving just the slightest bit. But I don't think he noticed. I definitely noticed though. So I was like, okay, so there was no way that was fake, or like in my head, because that chair is moving right now.
I have a feeling that was like an apparition, because you had talked about cigarettes smelling, like something that smelled of cigarettes before in other stories about your house. But I kind of want to tell a story about a ghost in my friend's closet next. Do you have another story you're thinking of?
It's just on more of that cigarette stuff. I smelled it a couple of other times, and my mom was like, "Oh, that's probably just a family member," because they smoked a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, sometimes I smell it too." I'm like,
but
what?
Like, you would only smell the cigarette smell if they were actively smoking in there, or had smoked in there. But no one smoked in their house.
They didn't let anyone.
It would only smell like that if you're with the person that was smoking outside. So it makes no sense to randomly smell cigarette.
Yeah, like it would smell like someone was in there smoking a cigarette.
And
it was
didn't
that
someone
strong.
die in that house too?
I don't know. I looked it up, but I didn't see anything that nobody got murdered at least, but died. I think a older gentleman died in there. I'm pretty sure. But I don't think it was a murder or anything.
No.
My
story is about the ghost in my friend's closet, or the demon, whatever it may be. So I had this friend, and we would hang out in his room every now and then. And so he would tell me little snippets, not snippets I guess, but little stories about how his house has different entities in it, and he's like felt them. And I think a lot of it is, again, the negative energy, because there's a lot of stuff going on there. And so one day we started so we had these, what are they called? Ghost rods?
Oh, dowsing rods?
Dowsing rods. So we had these dowsing rods, and I was holding them, and I was like how you're supposed to, and I was asking this entity that he says he had noticed was in his closet. And it did seem darker in there, so I started I don't know if this is actually how this works, but that's how it was working with this particular ghost or entity. I was holding the rods, and I was asking it yes or no questions. So I was like, do you mean friend's name any harm? And it started to go we said out was no, and cross was yes. So it started going in, and it kind of touched, and then it went back out. So I kind of took that as a maybe, but I think my friend took it more of as a yes, because I'm not the one that lived there, so it didn't bother me as much. And then I asked, what did I ask next? I asked, do you mind if do you mind do you mind if friend's name shuts the door? And it said yes. Or I'm sorry, it said yes, that it did mind. And it was answering these questions, and I asked at one point, does the selenite that friend's name keeps in here stop you from harming him? And it said yes. And then I asked its name, and I I would spell out or say out loud each letter of the alphabet, and it would say no or yes. And I think it turned out to be like some Z name, I don't remember, but it was just an interesting interaction, and it did feel the room start to get a little bit cold, and I had never experienced that before, so that was pretty interesting. And it did answer a lot of my questions, but eventually I think it started getting mad because the coldness in the room, I don't think I could see my breath like very much, but there was a bit of, it was very, very cold, so I could see a bit of my breath, so I just left it alone and said goodbye.
I'm pretty sure when that happens, it's using like the energy like around the room, so that's why the temperature goes down. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Ooh, another, like one of my very first things that ever happened to me. So I used to live out in the woods outside of the small town that we live in, and I lived about 5-10 miles out from town, and we lived on a property that was 20 acres surrounded by complete isolation and woods. We had one neighbor who also lived like right beside us, but that was it. To your right there was field for miles, and you could see a little light where there was a house at the other end of the field. Sorry, not the...
I think you touched the mic.
Anyway, and then to our left, complete woods, and then there was a pond and more woods. It was actually the dream, but as a kid it scared me really bad. But now that I'm older, I'm like, they should have kept it and I could have built a house on it. Because I was super into homesteading for a while. Still am, but definitely don't have time for all of that. And so the first thing that I ever noticed, like where I was noticing a bad energy... Why are you stalking the dogs? Leave them to go potty.
I thought I heard him big stuff.
And so the first time I ever remember having like a negative feeling about an energy was when I was put to sleep downstairs in the basement for some reason, and I was very scared of the basement. And I was sleeping and I woke up by myself in the dark in the basement, and I just had this immense amount of dread over me. And it was like pitch black. And so I ran upstairs, and that dread I now know is like my intuition trying to tell me that there's something here, and I now trust and know what my intuition is trying to tell me a lot more often than I did before, because back then I just thought I was scared. And so eventually one day I was home alone, and I was always really, really, really scared. I was a very paranoid kid. I was a kid obsessed with scary stuff, but I was always too scared to be watching the scary stuff. And so one day I'm home alone, and I look outside, and this thing appears. This actually just like came back to my memory just now. This thing, it looked like a guy, but it wasn't quite a guy. And it was like all black and white, didn't have a face, and it had no legs. So it was standing very tall in the yard. We had a big bay window and we could see into the woods, and it was like right at the edge of the woods, super tall, but the legs kind of faded away. Oh, I'm not talking to the mic. The legs sort of faded away, and it was really more dark at the top, and then it grayed as it went down to the feet. And I looked and I saw it, but when I noticed it, it disappeared. And I never had very many experiences in this house, but in the woods I had a bit more experiences. Like one time, oh my gosh, I'm remembering more and more. One time I was in the woods by myself. I would always go into the woods by myself, find salamanders. Sorry, our dogs are having fun. Finding salamanders and mushrooms and different things out in the woods. I'd find deer heads and different skeletons, and I was just a weird kid. And so one time I was out there and I heard like a whistling, like a, and I was like, maybe there's a hunter out right now. I'll just hold still so that I don't get and so because I didn't have bright clothes on, and there was a lot of hunters out there sometimes because our neighbor owned half, and he would let people hunt on his property during deer season. And so, and then after this whistling, obviously I don't whistle back because you just don't. I don't know. Doesn't everybody know that? And so
Yeah.
Eventually I hear this, what sounds like deer, a herd of deer running past me, and I'm looking around. There's no deer. And so I left the woods because, and from what I understand, if it sounds close, it's far away. If it's far away, it sounds close. The whistling sounded far away, but the deer running sounded close. So I just went back home because I was so scared. But nothing happened. It just it whistled and I didn't respond, and then I heard a deer ran past me, but there was no deer to run past. So I just booked it home because I was like, no. I didn't know as much as I do about a lot of that stuff, but my intuition must have been good enough not to whistle back.
Yeah, usually you don't whistle out in the woods.
But I was never taught any of that. Like, my parents weren't like we're not from Appalachia, or Appalachia, however you say it.
That's where my grandma's from, so that's mainly who taught us was that side of the family.
If we do another episode before we start doing listener stories, we should do an episode on Appalachia. I love Appalachia. Yeah. Yes, we should camp there and vlog it too. I would. Do you guys want to see us camp in Appalachia? If
I think
so,
that place actually scares me.
comment a tent emoji if you want to see us vlog in Appalachia, because I would camp there. So if you would love
1,000 likes.
Shut up. If you would like to see more from us, follow, and we would love it if you would send in your own stories. Our email is anomalieswithalexa@gmail.com. All platforms are Anomalies with Alexa, and we'll see you in the next one. And
Bye-bye.
The next one may be listener stories, more of our stories, or Appalachia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.